Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Saturdays with Tra Hangout on Air. I'm Mary Beth at the Law of Attraction Club, on the web at the loaclub.com. On these hangouts, we collaborate with our friends Tara. This hangout is the summary of our theme for the week and continues live on our member conference line. Today's topic, Change Your World, Day 9. You can live within the world, constrained by the world, and dealing with the world as best you can, or you can observe yourself living within the world and joyfully create new versions of everything. You can get invites to our open calls, which we offer periodically, and our powerful free letting go process by going to the loaclub.com. So now we're going to be welcoming Robin, who will be bringing through Tara.
Let us start with two fundamental cosmic truths about you and the existence that you form around you by the choices you make, that matching context, as we often call it, that surrounds you. Firstly, number one, choices. As you play this game of life on earth, you are always at choice. And the choices you make determine the version of reality, quote unquote, you experience, so-called reality. Number two, feelings. How you feel tells you in every moment whether your current choices are in alignment with what you want, you feel good, or what you don't want, you feel bad. Therefore, if you want the good stuff, the secret to living a joy-filled life is simply choosing to feel good. Nothing is more important. Let's look at your choices. One, you can live within the world, constrained by the world, and dealing with the world as best you can. Or you can observe yourself living within the world, enjoying the contrast and heightened desire, and joyfully creating new versions of everything to play with. Or you can leave this game and create a new one. And two or three, and three, of course, are the same thing. It's just a matter of degree. Because once you have the right perspective, once you have the formula down, the process down, all things are possible. As you learn to see things through the eyes of the greater you, the true nature of the game becomes obvious. You recognize the power that you have, and instead of shrinking into your shell and suppressing your desires to avoid contrast, you open up to new worlds and new adventures. From Abraham through Esther. As you diminish contrast, you diminish your ability to decide. And as you diminish your ability to decide, you diminish your ability to focus. And as you diminish your ability to focus, you do away with your reason for existing. In other words, you didn't come here to make choice number one. You didn't come here to live within the world and be constrained by the world. You chose to come here for good reason. In this leading edge creation, to experience the idea of limits, of edges to things, of beginnings and ends, and shapes and space and time. To mix it up with other independent conscious entities. To experience the unexpected in a world created by expectation. And just to explain that, how can there be unexpected things in a world created by expectations? Because you expect that there will be unexpected things. You are setting the boundaries and the borders. You have, if you like, created the game board on which the game is now played. You have made up the rules and you are all sitting down now to participate in this game. But within that game, even as when you play Monopoly, for example, you throw the dice and that random, so-called random number that appears on the dice creates the element of unpredictability. So there is in your world some things, other conscious entities reacting, moving around, flowing, and providing opportunities for you to experience this and that. Some things wanted, some things not wanted. And you came here for that very good reason, to experience that contrast, which stimulates new desires. You came here for the joy of creating new outcomes. You came here for the fun of it. You saw this world as enticing and exciting, as the leading edge of creation, and you dived into the adventure. You knew in advance that it could be all-consuming and suck you into its grip. But you also knew that ultimate power rests within you. We are simply reminding you of that power. Raising the bar is what this is all about. And that is being in a place one day, being at some level awareness of who you are, and moving in the next day to a higher level of awareness, moving in next day into a more elevated version of the game, if you will. It's not total disengagement, but it does mean disengaging enough from reality that you regain a higher perspective. It means in the midst of reality, disengaging enough to kindle an ongoing conscious and subconscious awareness of truth. And this thing we are calling awareness is the key that can unlock the door for you. How do you choose? We're talking here about choices you can make. It starts with conscious choices, like the one perhaps you made to join this program or be a part of this community. It proceeds with commitment, focus, and daily practice. It completes as an aligned truth about you that lives at all levels within you. Let's talk a little about those words, practice and all levels. Let's try the wastebasket exercise, or waste paper basket exercise. And we commend this as an exercise you can try. First, pick a belief you've changed consciously, but you're not yet lined up with it. 2, pick an object you use a lot and move it. Now, what you will notice is that consciously you know the new location. And if we asked you where it is, you could consciously respond and say, I've moved my waste paper basket from the left side of my desk to the right side. But subconsciously, you know the old locations. And that you'll discover, of course, as soon as you ball up that paper and throw it towards the waste paper basket. 3, day to day, as you notice that misalignment, that throwing it to where it was, and you will notice it because when you are not thinking consciously about these things, this action, and almost all of your actions you don't think about consciously, you will operate at the subconscious level. You will be operating with the knowledge that is stored there, and you will throw that paper in the wrong direction. And then as you notice that misalignment, you'll correct the thought about that object. You'll pick it up and now throw it in the right direction. And what you are doing when you are doing that is practicing the knowledge of where it is now into your subconscious, bit by bit by bit. And at some point, your subconscious gets it. So 1 week in, 2 weeks in, depending on how much you focus on it, you will notice that you are now responding in a different way. Then gradually your subconscious picks up on the new location, and that is where you now throw the paper. We are suggesting, notice how practice brings alignment. And each time as you misalign with the paper, or if you've moved your hand towel with where the hand towel now is, and so on, each time you misalign, notice it. And then bring to mind that belief that you want to change subconsciously, and allow yourself to affirm that. And then just watch yourself. Notice how practice brings alignment at all levels. Notice how significant that subconscious part of you is, that hugely competent piece of you that you delegate almost all of your management decisions to. Notice that about yourself. Observe yourself. And notice how you can also practice a new belief about anything and take it into those deeper levels of you, even way beyond your subconscious, to your inner being, to your higher self, whatever you choose to call it. Just observe yourself and notice. Observation is key here. So that is choices. Let's think a little about that number 2 basic tenet of yours, feelings. You choose your thoughts. You can consciously choose your thoughts. You may not choose your thoughts consciously. You may be on a train of thought and it just rambles on, and that subconscious, or however you choose to describe it, that deeper part of you is managing the process, even bringing up those thoughts. But you can consciously choose to think of anything at any time. Your thoughts determine your feelings. Therefore, you choose your feelings. You may have delegated that choice to your subconscious. You may have automatic reactions to circumstances that you're programmed into the very beingness of you, to that deeper level within you. And as you react to things automatically, you find yourself in a state of mind without even having made a choice about it. So you've delegated those choices about how to react to your subconscious. And therefore, it seems as though circumstances that you run into, that you're reacting to, are determining your feelings. Because as you run into circumstances, good and bad, so you feel good or bad about them. But we are here to remind you that you are the chooser of your thoughts, conscious thoughts. You can practice those thoughts into the very fiber of your being. Therefore, you can choose how you react, and you can choose your feelings. So if it seems as though circumstances determine your feeling, it's time for a new choice. It's time for a new habit of thought. You choose your thoughts. Your thoughts determine your feelings. Therefore, ipso facto, by what follows what, it follows that you choose your feelings. So let's just review what we have talked a little about this week. That you have an emotional guidance scale. And when you are on this scale of 0 to +5, you are facing towards, you are moving in the direction you want to go. What is the direction you want to go? Well, you have stored within you a whole stack of desires about the way you want the world to be, many of which you've forgotten about. But you, in your deeper you, in the bigger part of you, you have stored a complete set of desires and preferences. And when you are moving towards those desires and preferences, you feel good because you are, if you like, strongly attached to the core of who you are. If you are moving in the opposite direction, if the thoughts and actions you are taking at that point are moving you away from where you really want to be, then you are feeling bad. And that is the nature of you and your attachment to source, the connection you have to the collective consciousness. That is all that is, or source. And so we have, if you like, put together this +5 to -5, +5 moving from ecstasy to 4 joy to excitement to fun, 1 peace, and then calmness, that sort of neutral place. Let's just review a few of these. Number 5, ecstasy. Feeling off the charts wonderful. Knowing in every moment the amazing being that you are and your amazing ability to create anything. Let's move to 3, excitement. Feeling the thrill of your hands in the clay with an expectation of wonderful things to come. That bubbly feeling of creation inside of you. 0, calmness. Feeling neither good nor bad. It may be the place you wake up into in the morning before your mind starts to think about shoulds and musts. Then there's -1. You've just moved below that neutral point into a slight feeling of worry or anxiety. Maybe a general what if down feeling. What if this happens or that happens, with this and that being negative things. It's a place you can live within without even recognizing it. You get so used to being in this place of slight unease that it's like a fish in water. What does a fish know about water? Nothing until it leaves the water and has perspective. If you have got into that water and become so familiar with that water, you may be living in that water and without even recognizing that that's where you are. Let's look at -3, which we've put here as fear, the flip side of excitement. Instead of a bubbly, fun feeling inside, it's the expectation that things are not going to work out, that someone or something can hurt you, that bad things are coming your way. Now we are, if you like, these are just our words about these general states. You may have different words and you may have different ratings. The important thing is to recognize that your feelings can be on the good side, in the neutral point, or lower than that. And you can put the words and the against any of those that you wish. But just recognize that this is your feeling scale, and it tells you things. It tells you where you are. It tells you whether you are moving towards what you want or you are moving in the opposite direction. And it highlights once again, as we have been saying, that you, if you can live life within the context of 2 questions, and those 2 questions are how do I feel now and what do I want now? At any point, how do I feel now and what do I want now? And if you live life asking yourself those questions on a frequent basis, you will find that those questions become a part of you. As we say, you're starting to live life within the context of that. And what does that mean? That means that those 2 questions are now being asked by your subconscious on a regular, ongoing, monitoring basis. So as you go through these processes and as you make commitments and you focus and you practice, you are in fact integrating into the parts of you, the insides of you, the deeper levels within you. You are integrating into that place within you these important components, these aspects of your thinking. And as you do that, you get to that point of awareness of which we've been speaking, that point of awareness of who you are, that knowledge of the truth of who you are and the nature of the game that you are here playing. Good. Let's just briefly here go through our 10 affirmations once again, just as reminders, quickly. 1, reality is virtual. It's all an inside job. There's nothing you cannot be, do, or have because you're creating it all. 2, if you focus on reality as reality, you're reinforcing it and increasing its grip over you, its hold on you. A new belief choice creates a new reality. 3, the present is all there is. Time is an artifact of this world you're creating. Be in the present. Number 4, who's in charge? You are, the conscious you that's hearing this. 5, if bad ideas are hovering, gather them up and let them go. Number 6, treat yourself with enormous compassion. Thou shalt not beat up on thyself. 7, how is not your job. How is not your job. Focus on what feels good, and doors will appear that you never knew existed. 8, creation is moment by moment. Everything can change in an instant. 9, every small choice of a better feeling thought causes a shift in reality. And 10, your natural state is well-being. When you drop all resistance, you automatically float. Good. As you learn to see things through the eyes of the greater you, the true nature of the game becomes obvious. You recognize the power that you have, and instead of shrinking into your shell and suppressing your desires to avoid contrast, you open up to new worlds and new adventures. This is the game you came here to play. Good.
Our Change Your World program is a 30-day intensive focus on the art of creating a new reality. This program is running now from June 1st through June 30th, 2018. We're running it now for the first time for our members, our guests, and our YouTube channel subscribers. We'll be offering it again shortly. Keep in touch with this channel. Our longer discussion of day 9 continues now on our member conference line. Back over to you, Robin and Tara.